So one of the things that sticks out to me the most about the original 3 Spyro games is how they structured each save select for each game. Each Spyro game has the same basic design for these menus. Each game has Spyro standing in a place in some level in the game. In the first game it's a Magic Crafter's World, in the second game it's Skelos Badlands, and in the third game it's Fireworks Factory. Honestly, I'm surprised they went with Magic Crafters for the first game since, unlike Fireworks Factory and Skelos Badlands, it's not really the world that sticks out to me. It's not bad, but Dreamweavers would have been my choice. It'd be like, hey, welcome to this magical world, instead of, hey, welcome to this snowy mountain. And I feel so stupid for making that point in the first place, but whatever. So how are the save select menus in Reignited? Well, I guess they're okay. They just highlight the game with concept art of the last stage you played. I kinda wish it was like the Jack trilogy, and Spyro was just standing in the same spots as the original 3 games. Not a full recreation of the title screens, but just enough to show that, hey, we know what you want. But real shit, I'll take Spyro swooping into Hidden Orc, watching a dinosaur bash his fucking brains in with the logo, or watch a ninja's dreams of boiled eggs be destroyed by one of 2 attacks this dragon has, rather than Spyro fly between the O of Toys for Bob, which is nice, but lacks personality. Like me! And then you need to wait as a shovelware loading screen plays. Okay, I'm done complaining. I've spent far too long on the menus, so I'll just stop with this. In this video, I will have comparisons of the original and the remastered music, along with comparisons of all the dragons. But the title screen to Spyro 1 is the only song that was not remade, and the title screen to Reignited is completely new by mixing a lot of classic Spyro songs together. I don't have anything to say about either, I just love them both so much. So just listen to both and enjoy yourselves. If you don't know already, I love the original Spyro games, and I don't fault them at all. But the reignited version of the first cutscene, actually, no. All of the reignited cutscenes are far greater than anything the originals could have done at the time. Both have dragons shitting on Nasty Nork and Nasty saying, "Hey, you got words? I got Stone Beam." The reignited version of this cutscene is just better in the way it's shown to us. The original is an interview with someone asking about the dragons in their world and eventually asking about Nasty Nork, and Nasty Nork just kinda knowing what they're saying while standing in his lair. But Reignited has the interview actually on TV, and Nasty Nork is casually watching it. Fun fact, did you know that both Nasty Norks are played by the same guy, and I hope I don't mispronounce this, Michael J. Gao. I'm glad they got so many voice actors to come back for the Reignited trilogy, even though Nasty Nork doesn't sound as threatening now. And with a flick of the TV switch, as this amazing game states, the adventure begins.
Okay, rolling.
Oh, it's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age. We now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Gnort character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature.
Simple!
He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly. That does it!
Looks like I've got some things to do.
Okay, rolling.
It's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age, we now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Gnort character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature. Simple? He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat? Besides, he is ugly. Ugly? That does it!
Huh? Looks like I've got some things to do.
And I must say, what a beautiful first level. The Artisan home might even be one of the best first levels in any video game. Ignoring the dragons for now, the world itself is full of a bunch of teaching tools that will help you in a bunch of different areas in the game. First of all, one of the main collectibles is right in front of you at the very beginning. A handsome collectible at that. Gems are used to attract your eye and where to go next, and gems are also a good indicator on where you have and haven't been. And lastly, gems are used to show you around this teaching extravaganza. Just look at these small pillars right here that are meant to teach you how the jump feels in both versions of the game. Or even better is this jump right here that completely stumps newcomers. Let me tell you, unless you know how the jump works perfectly, first-time players might get stumped here. Just for the record, every single Spyro game has a point where the glide is best used. In the first Spyro game, it is literally just waiting until you're at the apex of your jump to initiate the glide. If you charge before you glide, you won't be able to make good vertical or horizontal distance. Reignited gliding is the best when you glide after a charge. You charge, then jump, and then when you're at the top of your jump, then you glide. I swear it's essential for some of the jumps in this game. Walking through this tunnel right here will lead you to a tower and a dragon. The vortex in the tower is a clever little trick used by developers. It not only lets you go higher up in the stage, but it's also used as a loading mechanism to load more objects in at a time. Even if you do have to do it twice to get both collectibles. Another tunnel leads you to a balloonist that says, "Fuck off and rescue your people, asshole." I will say though, he is by one of the greatest views in Reignited. Just an ocean and some land. And lastly, in this little crevice is a small field with this imposing statue that you can only open by conquering an Artisan world. If you didn't get it already, I love this world far more than I should. But I've been avoiding talking about one of the key collectibles, the dragons. And what a joy they are. Nestor informs you that instead of focusing on the enemy and the end goal, it is better to save those around you rather than chase after the adversary, clouding your mind. In the original, he just seems like a wise dragon, but in Reignited, he is more than wise. He is the leader of the Artisan world in strength and wisdom. He has a sort of Shakespearean vest on, and in one of his hands he holds a sculpting hammer. Holes are actually scattered throughout Nestor's wings. Maybe Nestor has been in a few fights himself? Maybe a harsh lesson learned by chasing an adversary, Anyway, I could gawk over this handsome beef bucket any day. Let's just show you the comparison and move on.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the Artisan world. Then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the Artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
Delbin teaches you about Sparks, a dragonfly that even before this dragon has been helping you collect gems. I am fine with him telling you about Sparks because unless you happen to fall into the pool by the stones, nothing else can really hurt you. So when he says that Sparks is protecting you, you don't really know what he means until you get hit in a later stage. In terms of Delbin's design, he definitely doesn't pack as much of a punch as Nestor. In the original Spyro the Dragon, all you can really say about him is that he is tall and strong in both appearance and voice. In Reignited, they kept that gruff, manly voice for him. Maybe not as manly as the original, but he's still up there. He seems to be a painter, probably watercolor if my eyes don't deceive me. And that reference of him telling you about Sparks while showing you a picture of Sparks is pretty freaking nice. He wears a belt without wearing pants. He has some wristbands and some scrolls behind him. What really bums me out is that most people miss his tail. It's a really cool tail. Just watch the comparison and keep an eye on it.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro! You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro! You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
So, Thomas is kind of a dumb dragon. I'm quite certain that everyone and their sister's cousin's third boyfriend-in-law knew how to glide at Spyro's age. One thing to note, though, is that he's not scared of flying, just scared of falling. Note the shakiness in his voice only comes from talking about plummeting and falling. He also fits the scaredy cat bill in terms of appearance. He doesn't have muscles or height going for him, he just seems kind of frail. His Reignited design, however, they made him a musician. Quite fitting, seeing as musicians have an outlook to talk about their fears and insecurities. Thomas has gauntlets, goat-like horns, a hat, a wooden guitar, and again, a flowery, nice-looking tail.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks, plummeting into prehistoric glaciers.
Oh, that.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
Argus seems to be a bit of a bigger dragon. From the start, he's already blocking your path. He just says, hey, finish a world please, then fight the boss. He is one chunky mama in both versions though. Reignited literally made it that he is munching on some sweet watermelon. Sadly though, there isn't much to say about his appearance. He just has a few spinies and some glasses. Nice colors though, and Argus does seem like he could be a teacher of sorts with that angelic voice and appearance. See, even the weaker dragons still have some nice detail.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The Artisan's boss is through a portal in the Dragon Mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First you must complete one of the other Artisan lands.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The Artisan's boss is through a portal in the Dragon Mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other Artisan lands.
Lastly, before we leave off the Artisan, we need to talk about the music. Spyro the Dragon is probably one of the greatest soundtracks ever created, but here's the thing, I'm not a music major, so I won't have much to say on these. So I'll just give you a little bit of opinion and then move on. I don't particularly prefer either version of the Artisan Homeworld track, they both have their strong suits and both feel magical. Just listen. First of all, let's compare the loading screens in each game. This is the only time I will talk about them while addressing the first 3 games and Reignited. Spyro's 1 through 3 have pretty quick load times with the camera always changing on Spyro, making it seem like he's always moving. While Reignited just has a still screen. I mean, you can interact with this screen by spitting fire, moving, or rolling in the air, but that kinda gets boring after the first few levels. It's also good to note that load times in Reignited are quite a bit longer. It doesn't bother me, but some people get annoyed with this. That being said, Stonehill is a pretty good first stage. The goats and shepherds are fairly easy to take care of, even easier in Reignited. It's a big open field with many places to go. I will always remember and bring up how influential it was to look in the background of the stage, and after getting on the top of the tower, being able to go to what it felt like anywhere. This stage is pretty big for the first stage, but really empty. Of note, there's this egg thief who you aren't even told about yet. A key that is pretty well hidden, and, exclusive to Reignited, a tulip that is pretty well hidden, given the size of the stage. Skill points weren't a thing in Spyro 1, but they're a welcome addition here in Reignited. I skipped the one in the Artisan home because my editing shows that the jump was a skill point in the first place. Finding this tulip is the second skill point. Most skill points in the original Spyro 1 are about exploring the stages and looking for little details which can be a joy to find. Speaking of well-hidden areas, it's not a skill point, but I couldn't tell you how long it probably took my kid self to jump behind the exit portal onto a nice looking beach area, and then find a locked chest inside a well. The rule for Spyro, always look around every corner and for every little detail. And before I start with the dragons, just look at this beautiful background. There isn't much to say about Lindar. He tells you how to save your game. I've run out of things to say about the original versions, but in Reignited, Lindar is a clockmaker from what I can tell. He is covered in clocks, and has magnifying goggles on his head. And I assume that pouches for all of his tools, and given the location he has found, it's a nice secluded area with an open top for some good light and great breeze. A good place to tinker with some clocks.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you run into trouble, Spyro.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
I don't know if Aster has any Artisanian references, but he certainly seems like the elder of this specific tribe. In the original, he's just an old elder dragon. In Reignited, he has a hat, a cane, some spikes, and little metal finger things on his hands. All he tells you is how to leave the world.
After you freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the Artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the Artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
Gavin is an odd dragon in terms of dialogue. He tells you exactly what Delbin tells you, except adds, "Hey, I'm buff," at the end. He also tells you to feed your dragonfly butterflies. Oh, so that's how you heal Sparks. I didn't know. He is the first dragon to stand on all fours in the original, which is interesting to think that some prefer 2 legs and some prefer 4. He's a barista in Reignited, and oh boy is he handsome. He has coffee mugs, tattoos, gauges, and a nose piercing. And just imagine what he was doing down there before Nasty attacked. He is underground in what could be an underground cafe, which I've never been to, but I hear are quite popular.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
See, I'm already running out of things to say for the original dragons from Spyro. Nothing really stands out about Gildas in the original game, but in Reignited, oh boy. The only thing new that he tells you is that if you hit triangle, you can drop down from a flight. In Reignited, this man looks like Dragon Tails mixed with Bob Ross. There's paint all over him, which includes his cover and his wings. And wow, that big brush can kill a man. It also is neat to think that he might be gazing into the sky for some inspiration on his next art piece. I kinda wish that each location of the dragons had something leading up to them, like a clock on the front of the tunnel you'll find Aster in, maybe a little bar for Gavin, and paintings on the side of the tower that Gildas is on. Last thing you should know is that the camera is really weird when Spyro talks in the original version of this cutscene. Just watch.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of a jump, and try pressing the triangle button to drop down in mid-flight.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump, and try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
I like both versions of the song that plays in Stonehill. They both have that solemn, smooth sound that occasionally builds the funk up. Again, no preference between the versions of this song. I like both versions equally. Dark Hollow is the first stage to make me go, wow. It's actually a really tiny stage compared to the rest of the game, but that atmosphere is perfect. I love nighttime stages, and the way they place the lighting on the lamps on the inside of the tunnels is just, oh my god, I feel like a boy again. This is made even better with Reignited's version of this stage. They made it into a sort of library, and the lamps are even more vibrant and warm. It really shows what they could do, since the first stage just seems like the same theme as the Artisan home, just very grassy open areas, but this expands it, and keeps the grassy field areas, but changes the lighting and the theming. Osmond tells you that pressing triangle in Reignited or holding it down in the original can make you look around. Honestly, I feel like it's pointless for the most part in Reignited since the analog stick can do that anyways, but for the original game, it's a nice way to look around. And Albin's design is meh. I mean, I like it, but it just seems like a recolor of the dragon that was in Nestor's position in the very first trailer that everyone complained about. He just has a turban and some bling. Last thing to note here is that Charles' version of Spyro is more of an asshole while Tom Kenny is more sympathetic. Both are good in their own way, but Charles in the original takes the cake for delivery here.
Psst, Spyro, want to know a secret? Use the triangle button when you want to zoom in and look around.
Oh, your secret's safe with me.
Spyro, wanna know a secret? Use the action button when you want to zoom in and look around.
Oh, your secret's safe with me.
Albin tells you that metal needs to be charged and not flamed. He also appears to be some sort of writer, maybe a poet. He holds a scrap of paper with an ink feather and some ink on his belly. Note that he actually gets the feather from his head. Like, what the f? Albin is one of the few dragons that are purple too, and his color scheme in both the original and Reignited are perfect.
Oh, it's you! I wasn't sure if you'd escape those annoying little creatures. Of course, they wouldn't bother me, but here's a hint. Metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
Oh, it's you. I wasn't sure if you'd escape those annoying little creatures. Of course they wouldn't bother me, but here's a hint. Their metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
Darius tells you the exact opposite of Albin. Use the flame on big enemies since you aren't strong enough to push them. As for his design, I think he is some Shakespearean actor. Note the note, rose, and skull in his hand. It seems like something you would see in a drama from Shakespeare. Gotta love those spots too, even though the dragons and peacekeepers don't have the spots and that was kind of their thing, but whatever.
Big enemies like this Gnorc with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
Big enemies like this Gnorc with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
Dark Hollow's music is some of the best in the game. Both versions are outright gorgeous. I again have no preference. Stewie, you are a godsend. And I promise that every song comparison won't end with this, well, shit's good perspective. They just made the first few songs in the Reignited version of the game as good as the original versions in my opinion. Just listen. My god, the skybox to Town Square is absolutely gorgeous. Town Square is only a little bit different than the other Artisan worlds. Instead of hills, grassy fields, or castles, this is, as the title of the world states, a town. This stands out a bit because it is more tile and cement rather than grassy, and it's comprised of more building structures for you to platform on than just the lay of the land. It's quite fitting that this is the portal you enter off the side of the tower. There isn't really much to say about Town Square. Other than a really beautiful skybox, it doesn't do much different than the other Artisan stages, and it's fairly small. The enemies are pretty fun though. Who else to inhabit this stage than bull tamers and bulls that, if charged, will get stuck in the ground? You red tip not in the European version, but in my version, bastard. There is also this jump right here that leads you to the second egg thief in the game, who is just a little bit harder than the first egg thief. The last thing I should say is that there was a skill point added to this stage and reignited. If you charge all the bulls and make them all stuck without killing them, you'll gain a skill point. Nils tells you actually nothing. He tells you to explore the world and look around, and he tells you how to look around. Again. Ah, gee, thanks. I still love you though. The original designs are kind of getting old to talk about since they all seem very similar, but the reignited version is beautiful. It's the first long-necked dragon we see. He doesn't have a lot going for him, but I love him though, even though all he has is the finest neck in Plimepf and a must-have mustache. He's also the first dragon to disappear before he flies away. He goes to fly, then hits over the stone he was chiseling, then goes to catch it, and then finally disappears. Oh yeah, he is also a chiseler, making yours truly from stone. What a nice gesture.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the L2 and R2 buttons to get a good look.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the right stick to get a good look.
Delvin is probably one of my least favorite dragons in the game. His design is cute and all, but there isn't much to it. He is a cake decorator, which to be fair, any one of these buildings could be where he works. But his design is literally just that of a baker. I do love how he has a comedically large spoon and some super tiny wings, but that's about it. He also just tells you about jumping. Again. Also, I'm gonna make these comparisons of them saying the same things over and over. I get it. They're supposed to be leading you into the next stage, just saying, hey, pay attention in this stage, you'll find a section like this. But, come on. If you just look at the stage, you'll know what to do. You don't need a dragon telling you. Some of them are funny doing this, but others are just repeating, and repeating.
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Oh, did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing X at the very top of your jump?
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Know that you get your longest glides by pressing the jump button at the very top of your jump?
Odin was the very first iconic "Thank you for releasing me" dragon, but he was completely changed in the Reignited trilogy. He still says the famous words, but he adds a little bit about the guidebook since that's completely new to Spyro 1. It's also very obvious that he's a potter, since he has a mixing jar of water that actually splashes down on him and clay all over his apron. I am quite confused on whether the hair is real or not though.
Thank you for releasing me.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. You can always check your progress by accessing the guidebook through the pause menu.
finally, someone who tells us about the Egg-Thief. It's funny that Town Square has one of my least favorite dragons and one of my favorite dragons. Alvar is just great in both personality and design. He's just so energetic, but for some reason his body just can't handle his energy. His design is just beautiful as well. He's clearly a cook whose specialty is barbecue. Just look at him. Just look at that cleaver, and look at that meat that's on the spikes of his tail. I mean, how perfect is it that his own tail is a skewer? I mean, oh man, I want what he's cooking. Just gonna ask this question, because it's a big question. So is it by chance that his tail's a skewer, or did he make it that way? I mean, I guess he could have made it that way. It's very convincing that he could have, but you know what? Never mind.
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg. Run! Run! I'm getting a little winded.
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg. Run! Run! I'm getting a little winded.
I swear to you that my opinion will not always stay as both versions of the song are equal, but it really is the case here again. These are a lot more high energy than the other few songs, and it really helps the stage sound distinct from the rest of the Artisan worlds. Just give it a listen. First things first, before you enter Toasty, you should probably talk to Argus again, because his dialogue actually changes from finish in Artisan World to you are free to challenge him.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The Artisan's boss has threw a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The Artisan's boss is through a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
Just jumping to that portal and seeing the skybox is breathtaking and a little nerve-wracking. It looks intense with a harsh orange that is only intensified with Reignited. The stage itself is very simple. It starts with a courtyard leading into a castle that splits off into a ledge and a nice field. The main boss of this stage should have been these damn dogs for how much they will mess you up in this game. Top 10 moments when Sparky went away right here. Even when you get to Toasty, he is mostly a pushover saying, "Hey, I'm easy, but look, more dogs." The Scarecrow design is great in both games, but Reignited made it more intimidating. Turns out, Toasty's just a sheep that is sick of your BS and wants you dead, so you kill him more quickly than any other sheep in the game. Before I move on to my mean boy Sleeft himself, look at these views. Spoilers, Reignited's background is better, but that's just, I don't know what I'm doing here. It's just my opinion right now. Nevin is one of the sexiest dragons I've ever laid my eyes on. He's got scruff, he's got statch, he used to have sleeve, but not anymore! All he says is, this boss, or wait, no, Toasty. Ah, God, I can't believe they changed it from this boss to Toasty. What's wrong with them? Artistic dragons have been done a lot in the Artisan home, but each one feels very unique. I give props to the level as well because it did what I said I wanted them to do for the other dragons, which is he had paintings that he made leading up to where you find him. For the most part, they did a really great job with all the Artisan dragons, and even the designs I don't really like as much, I can't hate because there's so many dragon designs that just one off will never upset me. I am fairly impressed.
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the Artisan world.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. This boss has many tricks up his sleeve.
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the Artisan world.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. Toasty has many tricks up his sleeve.
Finally, I told you it was coming. The opinion to end all opinions. In my opinion, the reignited version of Toasty's music is a little bit better. They both start off slow, hyping you up for the incoming, fairly easy battle, then shift into a sick set of chords. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just think Reignited sounds a little more intense. Take a listen. So in the Artisan home, there are these stones that, if jumped in the super specific order of whatever you want it to be, will cause this wall to lower down and lead you to Sunny Flight. The first flight stage, where it's a time attack speed run of sorts. You need to fly around and destroy each of the obstacles they list for you. In this case, it's trains, chests, arches, and planes. Some people complain that the controls for the reignited version of the game are worse and less precise, but honestly, sometimes I prefer the reignited controls. I would probably say I enjoyed the original flying a tad bit more because you have a bit more control, but again, Reignited's version is still pretty fun. Although I will say, the flight levels in Spyro 1 in general are just kinda meh. I'll touch more on it on the other flight stages when I get to them, but Sunny Flight specifically is pretty to look at, but it's over so quickly that there isn't much to appreciate. Don't get me wrong, I love the flight levels, but comparing them to any normal stage, it's no contest what I consider more fun. So I've never been a big fan of any of the flight songs. I couldn't tell you why, but they just don't jive with me. I think both versions are equal in quality, it's just not my cup of Plimepf tea. And that's it. I was going to make this all one part, but just because I don't want to make a 5-hour video, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to split it up by homeworlds. I hope this didn't come out shitty. I know there's probably some things editing-wise I need to fix, just a lot of stuff, so if anyone wants to give me advice or feedback, do it. I encourage it. But that's pretty much it for now. Look forward to the next one in a year when I actually finish it. Bye.